and welcome back to this week's video. So for today, I decided to recreate my headstand tutorial, and the main reason why I decided to take away my last headstand tutorial and will be providing these two new videos is because I learned how to make the quality better. That's mainly it. I learned how some of the tech issues I was having, I learned how to make them better. So I decided, you know what, let me just give you guys a better upgraded version of the headstand tutorial. So for this video, we're going to focus on Sirsasana A, which is the headstand where you're like this. And I highly recommend that if you guys are starting out your yoga journey, or if you're not warmed up, please do not try this inversion because we are putting a slight pressure onto the neck, and the neck is a crucial part of your body, and you don't want to injure and hurt yourself just because you're trying to do a headstand. I don't think that's very smart. Anyways, I will be showing you guys some stretches and drills that you guys can do, or if you want to follow some of my yoga flows, I'll link them down below in the description for you guys to try whatever you guys want to do. And before we start, I know that a lot of you guys are probably asking, Gina, what are the benefits to doing a headstand? Why should we be doing stand in general? And that's a great question, and I'll answer that for you. So doing a headstand can help with core strength, it can help with leg strength, it can help reverse the blood flow so you can have more blood going into your head, to your eyes, which helps better cognitive retention, better focus, better eyesight. Now, do I believe that going into headstand is the best way to getting these results? No, I feel like there are a lot of other ways that you can do to get those type of results. If you do have the ability to be able to do a headstand, I think it's just fun to play around, and it's fun to help those benefits that I just mentioned in a unique way that's considered an inversion. So now we got all the info out of the way, let's get started, and I'll show you guys some stretches you can do. For these stretches, we're going to really focus on the neck, back, and shoulders, and a little bit of tricep, because a lot of what's going to be on the ground holding us up will be our upper body. So you really want to make sure that your upper body is loose and functional to be able to hold yourself in that position. So the first stretch I want to show you guys is puppy stretch, and this stretch is super good to help open up the chest and the shoulders and the neck and the upper back. I love doing this stretch. And here you'll tuck your toes and then just reach forward like this. And then you can either keep your chin on the mat or you can bring your forehead on the mat. That way you're just opening and lengthening your upper body. Also, I want to say you can do these poses for as long as you want. I would recommend holding them for 15 to 20 seconds just to make sure that you are allowing enough blood flow, enough movement for your body. Or I should say 15 to 20 breaths. 15 to 20 seconds or 15 to 20 breaths, whatever you want to do, whatever you have time for. That way you're not just going straight into the headstand in a cold body. Well, your body's not cold, but it's not warmed up and it's not able to move quick enough. So the next move that I'm going to show you guys is a tricep stretch, which I highly recommend doing on the couch. You don't have to do it on the couch. And what that is we'll keep our hands clasped together, and then just bring your head between your arms and just bring yourself forward. That way you're really stretching out the triceps and the shoulders and the neck as well. Very, very good. Even though you might not realize it, but your triceps are going to be the one part of the arm group that's going to be really focused on helping you raise yourself forward. Now for the next stretch, we're going to do a little bit of a shoulder stretch. And what I just recommend doing is laying flat on your mat and just with your right arm, bring it directly below the shoulder and just twisting this way That way you're opening specifically your left shoulder chest area. And then do the same thing on the other side. Ooh, that feels good. If you want to take it a little bit further, just bring the same leg behind you. That way you have a full rotation. Now the next stretch that I highly recommend is if you have a strap or if you have a towel, that's totally fine. We'll do some shoulder strap stretches. So what that does is we're just going to bring your hands like this and then pull it up and down just to bring some stretch into those arms. Then we'll do it on the other side. Like I said, if you don't have a strap, it's okay. You can use a towel, a long t-shirt, whatever works best. Cool. And then another stretch you guys can do is you can go into tabletop position and then just twist your arm through. That way you're giving more of a stretch to your back. Even though we're not going to be doing any twisting in our headstands yet, but it's just good to have that rotation and warmness within your back. Because your back is part of your core. Part of your core is not only your abs, but your obliques, your butt, your lower back. So we need to make sure that's warmed up. So because your lower half isn't going to be Gumby, your lower half is going to be actively engaged. So that way it's going to help keep your lower half up if you have a warmed up back. And then the last stretch I recommend you guys doing is some simple cat and cows. So a cow looking up and a cat looking down. That way you're just bringing a little bit of warmness into your back. Whatever stretches you want to do, I recommend doing at least a few of them. If you have time for all of them, do all of them, but do what is consistent for you and what you feel like needs to be more focused on. Now for the next set of moves I'm going to show you guys are going to be more drills. So they're going to be more for focusing on strength, to kicking yourself up into the headstand, keeping yourself into the headstand, and focusing how to allow majority of your weight to be on your shoulders and your arms and forearms, because in reality, you don't have a lot of weight on your neck. It's mostly your arms doing a lot of that work, because once you start doing headstands enough and start getting comfortable, you're going to realize how to transition the weight into less of your neck and more of your arms. Also, I'll be sharing these drills and stretches on my Instagram, which is @StuffGinaDoes, if you guys want to follow along and want something that's a little bit more accessible, quicker than just watching a whole YouTube video. Highly recommend checking there. So for the first drill that I recommend doing for a headstand, it's just a simple forearm plank. Making sure that you are in a line and then holding for whatever length you can, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, a minute, whatever you're able to do. That way you're learning how to keep strength and the pressure in your shoulders and forearm. Cool. Now the next move we're going to do is down dog into dolphin. So the way to do that is you'll get into your downward facing dog, just like this. If your knees are bent, that's okay, nothing wrong with that. And then going into dolphin, bringing both elbows to the mat. I would recommend doing these 8 or 10 times. That way your body is not only stretching out the triceps, but working out the triceps and the shoulders. Cool. Now, the next move that we are going to be doing is caterpillar, but we're going to focus on our legs. So what that means is you're going to get to the front of the mat or whatever you're practicing on, forward fold, and walk with your legs to the back until you get to the high plank, and then walk with your legs back to your hands and do that again. Maybe 5 rounds to build up strength, because is how I'm going to show you guys to get into your headstand. I'm going to show you guys how to walk up. Now, the next pose will be focused more for abs, because again, you need that core strength. So something simple could be boat to low boat. Boat to low boat. If you want to make it a little bit more intense, arms up, legs up. Like that. Making sure you keep your spine as straight as possible. The next pose I want to show you guys are dolphin dips. So get into your dolphin position, so forearms on the ground and dip. So you're bringing your chin to the mat. Just like this. Perfect. Now the next two moves I'm going to show you guys are going to consist of a wall. So if you have a wall around you, then you will be able to do these next two moves. So here we are, we're at a wall, and the first thing I want you guys to do is distance yourself from the wall. So keeping your feet on the wall, that way you know how far away you can be from the wall to making sure this drill is effective. So the length of where your hips are, put your finger there, and that way we will get into our headstand position. So for me, I have this line, that's how I'm going to remember it. And some tips I want to give you guys for making your base is to be able to have the 3 points. So you have your head and your two elbows, like this. And then I like to place the crown of my head onto the floor. And also I like to give myself a little bit of space between my head and my hands. So I don't have it fully like this. I have some space in between there. That way if I were to fall over, there's just a little bit more wiggle room. Because you don't want too wide of a base or too narrow of a base, because then you won't have a stable base. So you have to remember that the bottom part that's holding you up has to be stable. So here we are. And then making sure lengthwise, wrap your hands around your elbows. That way it's good distance, so you know your elbows are below your shoulders. Place your head on the floor, crown, and then kick your legs up and hold it just like this. Then when you're ready to make it a little bit more intense, bring one leg up, bring it down, bring another leg up, and bring it down, back to the wall. That way, you're going to have some practice on what it feels like to be inverted upside down before you really kick your legs over. And you won't feel that sense of fear because you'll still have the wall to catch you with your feet. Now, here we are about to do our first headstand. So I also want to tell you guys a couple tips that I've learned is that when you are going to fall over, tuck chin to chest. That way you're doing a somersault out of it. Or I've also learned that if you're up into your headstand position, learn how to kick off. So what that means is if we are in our position, or I could say kick sideways. So if we're in our position like this, just bring your leg out, sort of like a cartwheel. That way you're learning how to bring your feet to the floor. And if your hips pop, that's okay. I don't come out of my headstands like that, so my body's not used to it, but I've seen people do it like that before, so I just want to make sure that you guys have more than one way to come out of the headstand. And then finally, when you guys do fall out of the headstand, never slam on the ground. Don't slam super hard. Gently, if you can, try to come out of it, because you don't want to add that extra tension and frustration within the joints that's not needed, because you're already in an inverted position and you're already having a little bit of tension in your neck, so you don't want to cause any more frustration or tension within the body that you don't need. Because I highly recommend and believe that coming in and out of a position is worth more than being in the position, because you can hit a beautiful pose, but if you land that pose wrong, you will throw away the whole pose because A, you could hurt yourself, or B, the way you would have fallen out of it could hurt you mentally and scare you for not wanting to continue to progress with that pose. So if you fall, that's okay. Be mindful of it. You are going to fall. This is an inversion. However, don't try to slam your feet onto the ground. And also making sure that your lower half is actively engaged when you're upside down and you're not just flowing your legs back and forth like Gumby. The lower half is going to help you stay stable and keeping yourself up. Okay, so now everything I've taught you guys, since you guys have just finished stretching, doing your drills, your body's warm, let's get into the headstand now. So I'm going to have you guys measure the length between your elbows, making sure they're at least 1 forearm distance apart, and then making a triangle with your hands. You're going to clasp your hands like we did in our tricep stretch, and you're going to bring the crown of your head onto the mat like this. Perfect. Then bring your hips up, and like caterpillar walk, you're going to bring your legs as close as you can to your body. Then bring one knee up at a time and hold yourself here. Do what you can just so you can practice on core and alignment. Then gently bring your feet down. And another tip I have to give you guys that I almost forgot is when you're kicking yourself up, making sure your hips are aligned with your spine and you're creating that line, because I've noticed when my hips flare out, not in a line, that's when I will fall over, because so your body's going to follow wherever the center of balance is. So now that I've given you guys all my tips and tricks, let's do our headstand. So measuring out the distance between elbows, bringing the crown of our head, giving our head a little bit of space between our hands. Any popping noise is okay. Bring your legs as close as you can to your body. Bring your legs up. And then I like to slowly bring my feet up so I can actively engage the core. Making sure your legs are engaged. And voila! Here's your headstand. And see how even though I fell down fast, it was still gently. So thank you guys all for watching. I hope you learned how to do a headstand. My next headstand video that I will create for you guys is tripod headstand. Don't forget to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. If you do choose to try out this headstand, please tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see what you guys are doing, seeing what type of poses you're able to do out of the headstand. And remember, please be safe. Headstands, if you don't knock it out on the first try, it's okay. It's better for you to learn how to do it slowly and progress over time than hit it that one time and dangerously hurt your neck. That's all I gotta say on it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!